Trump and Tucker smash 176 million views. Vivek Ramaswamy declared the debate winner. Here's a clip.
Last night, we had two explosive media events. Donald Trump's interview with Tucker Carlson, which is now around 175 million views on Twitter. And of course, we had the GOP lesser-known debates. Now, I'm being somewhat of a dick when I say that, lesser-known debates. Most people know who Nikki Haley is when it comes to politics, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie. But the issue is, none of them are going to go anywhere near the White House in this session. I could be wrong about that. Ann Coulter gave an interview. She thinks DeSantis will win. There are some people saying Ron DeSantis won the debate, but few and far
between. He did better
between.
than I was expecting.
I think most people are saying Vivek
won.
Ramaswamy stole the show.
Yep.
It's interesting, though. This argument that's coming out pertaining to the debate is that Ron spoke to issues that more people are going to align with, and Vivek spoke to us. I'm not sure that matters, to be completely honest. It's all about screen time. Now, I think much of the debate was stupid. Chris Christie is just absolutely the worst. And Nikki Haley is a warmonger
Yes.
who lied about what's going on. And the only person on stage with the strength to immediately say, I will not fund war in Ukraine was Vivek Ramaswamy. And most importantly, when asked, and I got to pull up this clip, if Donald Trump is convicted, would you still support him? Vivek, bing, right away. Hand up. No question. Now, very quickly, to be fair, several of the other candidates like Nikki Haley, she puts her hands up. They're all very timid. And then, lastly, Ron DeSantis with his hand half up. You know what, man?
Ron,
I think
what
perhaps
are you
one of my favorite
doing?
moments of the debate night was when Vivek Ramaswamy said climate change was a hoax, and he got booed for it. Dude, come on. Here's what I'd say about climate change. I'm a fairly middle-of-the-road person. Y'all know me. I think humans are causing a lot of ecological problems in terms of mass pollution and overproduction. But there's a question of whether or not that leads to climate change and a warming of the planet. So the only thing I can say
and how significant it
is
is.
how I described it last night. I should probably save this, but I want to say
pollution's bad.
I don't take investment advice from scientists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a scientist can come out and tell me that he thinks there's going to be an earthquake, and I'll be like, I'll take that into consideration. But considering the politics at play, for the most part, I take a look at what these fat cats are doing because they got a track record of making money. And I'll tell you this right now, when it comes to climate change, I do have concerns about overpopulation and toxification of environments. Cities are horrible. But I'm just going to look at what Warren Buffett is doing, what Nancy Pelosi is doing, what Obama is doing. I'm going to take investment advice based on their actions, not based on their politics.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they doing? Well, you know, Obama's got waterfront property in Martha's Vineyard. Banks are still financing mortgages in Miami Beach. Yeah. But I'll save that conversation for later. Let's talk about the quick hits. This is Donald Trump getting, let me just show you right now. This is the Tucker Carlson episode 19 debate night with Donald Trump. 173.4 million views. Let's refresh this and see where it's at as of right now.
This is this morning.
Is crazy.
I should look up how much it is now. That's
176.2
insane.
million views. Now, a jump like that makes sense. I pulled this up about an hour ago, and I had the tab open. So maybe within like a half an hour or so, it jumped 3 million views. Makes sense. A lot of people were split between the lesser-known debates and watching this interview with Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson. So it makes sense that this morning, people are waking up and watching the interview. I have not watched the full thing. I've only watched selects of the Tucker Carlson interview. So I recommend you check it out. But let's first dispel the lies. Here's what they're all panicking. Oh, Fox News' ratings were in the gutter. We don't know their ratings, but how are you going to compete with 176 million views? Oh, don't worry. They're saying they're not real. Sure. Let's talk about that.
Interesting.
Trump is bragging about 100 million views for Tucker Carlson interview. Here's why that's misleading. I'll give you the short version of it. They're basically saying that these are not video views. Nobody watched the interview. They're saying that this means the post scrolled past you. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. 176 million people were made aware of this interview. It does not mean they watched the full thing. I would probably estimate it around maybe like, I don't know, 20% is probably fair. Based on what I know about metrics and analytics, 20% seems to make a whole lot more sense. And that's because if you look at analytics, you'll see there's a chart that shows you watch time, 46 minutes, and then it drops down. Most people don't watch the whole thing. That's just unlikely that 176 million people watched 46 minutes. I would estimate that probably 150 million watched 2 or 3 seconds of it, meaning they scrolled past it, said, okay, and there you go. I'm totally fine with acknowledging that. That's a normal metric for anyone who understands the internet. The only people I think who are acting like this number is immaterial or irrelevant are old fogies who are used to television where they're like, here are our ratings. But let me explain something.
Yeah, if it's 20%, like it's at 241 at this point. That's insane. So if 20%, that's 40 million people. Woo! It's a lot of people.
When they say, we got 30 million views on our show, according to Nielsen studies, which estimates based on an extrapolated data point, spare me. Okay? We can track real hard numbers here. So, brand recognition and acknowledgement, 176 million. Now, don't get me wrong, some people probably scrolled past it, didn't know what it was. But when they come out and they say 20 million people watched like Big Bang Theory, they're doing this thing where they have select houses. They say they've agreed to share their data with us. So we assume, based on the 2,000 people who are watching TV, 20 million people watched this. Get out of here, dude. I just don't buy any of it. But let's talk about the debates.
So old.
Now, I do want to mention some of the Trump-Tucker interview, but I do recommend that you watch it. Tucker Carlson's scaremongering. I love this. Tucker was leading the conversation quite a bit. And I got to admit, some of these answers Trump gave were a bit meandering. They were. Tucker asks Trump if he thinks we're headed to civil war, and Trump said, there's a level of passion I don't know. There's a level of passion I've never seen, a level of hatred I've never seen, and it's probably a bad combination. He asked about Epstein, and Trump said, I don't know, he probably killed himself. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Trump's not going to come out and be the internet personality that everyone thinks he's going to be when they're on the internet. I love this one. The debate was the sideshow. Trump's debate night interview with Tucker Carlson was a taste of the chaos to come. Oh, bravo. But let's get into the nitty gritty, my friends. The debate. First, segueing from Trump into the debate, Don Jr. and Kimberly Guilfoyle were banned from the media spin room. Ex-president's top surrogates are turned away as Republicans bicker over former president. You know why this is targeted? Dude, I've been in the debate spin rooms. I am not a politician in any way. Hey, I'm a journalist. And they're like, come on in, buddy. So the idea that Don Jr. wouldn't be allowed in, yeah, they're playing games. Here we go.
Yep.
Who had the best debate performance? Let's get into the debate talk, my friends. Vivek Ramaswamy, 28%, followed by Ron DeSantis, 27%. This is JLP Partners conducted an online poll of 504 registered Republicans who watched Wednesday's debate. The results come with a margin of error of 4.4%. So it is hard to do these real-time polls. But I think based on the media response, the Twitter response, the trends, Vivek Ramaswamy stole the show, no question. Yeah. Take a look at this. It explains everything. What a few seconds of hand-raising said about Trump's GOP. With a halting series of raised hands, candidates on the Republican debate stage illustrated the former president's hold on the party. Oh, the hold on the party. Let me play this clip for you. Here you go.
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
So let me just, we'll break this down. Vivek Ramaswamy, without hesitation, hand as high as hand can be. Now, I'll give some credit to Nikki Haley, who shortly after gives a half-measured, but quickly enough, some of these people, let's be nice. Ron DeSantis. Let's replay it.
Former President Trump, the party's choice. Please raise your hand if you would.
That was the most. I'm sorry, man. I know the DeSantis people are going to get mad at me. Vivek, without question, hand up. Nikki Haley, shortly after. Tim Scott. Ron DeSantis waits until people are cheering, looks around, and then halfway up.
DeSantis.
This is why people are saying Vivek stole the show. Leadership requires you to assert your position without waiting for the audience to cheer or boo. And even when booed, Vivek Ramaswamy kept pushing his position.
Let's cut in
This
here.
audience.
Trump is arriving at the jailhouse.
Really a quick procedure for the most part.
Yeah.
There'll be the issue of posting bail. There will be the mugshot, fingerprinting, and basically that's it. And then he'll be back on his way to Hartsfield Jackson and probably out of here within the hour, I would assume, within maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
And one thing, we are not going to be able to actually see him go into the jail because our cameras are not, to my understanding, allowed in there. But you're taking a live look right now from the skies, and we're going to go to our Ron Jones, who is at the jail right now. Ron, what are you seeing on your end?
Well, let me tell you, there is a buzz here in front of the Fulton County Jail. Just maybe about 20 minutes ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene made her way in here through cheers and jeers at the same time, but she was here talking to some of her supporters as she moved her way through the crowd.
Guys,
she is
Mike,
possibly still here right now, and I'm anticipating, as I'm looking at the video along here with you, that she's going to be there to greet the former president as well. They sang "God Bless America" with some of her supporters too, and so she has a lot of support. She also on her.
And it looks like that motorcade is now pulling up.
They just gave up on him.
Jail. We wanted to cut in here because there was a little bit of lag with audio, but we want to show you and just bring you all here right now. 11 Alive Sky Tracker bringing you that aerial video of the motorcade pulling up. It's now come to a complete stop, so we can't expect the former president to get out and make his way in the jail. Jeff, as you were saying, this could potentially be a quick process.
Sheriff Pat Labat has said that he would treat Mr. Trump like any other person who comes through the jail for this process, and that there would be no difference there. But there is obviously a huge difference in that he is going to be sequestered from everybody else in that facility, and he will be moving at a very, very fast pace. Joe Ripley is outside the jail right now. Joe, it's all yours. What are you seeing?
He's broke too. Let's get back to
all right, we're having a few technical problems.
Right? It's not. I'm not saying like they're trying to manipulate people. I'm saying you cannot be swayed by an audience of people who are the top tier political elites. Tell me who sits in a debate. I've been to these debates. It is not your salt of the earth working class people.
Right.
Some, don't get me wrong, some people come, regular working class people, but it's mostly politicos, super connected, super involved people who show up to these debates in person. Funny story, I was at the GOP debate, I think it was in 2016, one of them, and apparently some far leftist had a female toy, adult toy, in a bag that they were intending to throw. And so security was stopping anybody who had bags or backpacks. And I was walking through the hall, press pass and everything, and they're like, "We need to check your bag." I'm like, "Do it to it, buddy." Just had a camera in it. I'm like, "Just camera." And they were like, "Okay." And then it was really funny. I was like, "Is something going on?" Is there like, well, they were like, somebody came in here with an adult, you know, they didn't say adult female toy. They used the actual word for it. And then we started laughing. And I was like, "All right, thanks for your work, dudes." And they started laughing and walked off. I thought that was really funny. But anyway, here's what the prediction markets have to say. Now Vivek Ramaswamy was up yesterday. Now he's down, but he is still holding firm in second place. During the GOP debate, Vivek actually dropped down to third place. Ron DeSantis jumped up, and that was surprising to me. Vivek had quick answers, leadership. His hand was right up in the air anytime he was asked that question. They said, "Will you cut funding for Ukraine?" Look at this one. Do I have the tweet here? When asked if you will support Trump if convicted, Vivek Ramaswamy without hesitation raises his hand. And, okay, so I had another tweet. I pulled up the wrong one. They said, would you, it was asked in such a weird way. It was confusing. They were like, would you not, if you would not support continued funding for Ukraine, raise your hand. And it's like, wait, I would not support funding. Vivek immediately, hand up. Take a look at this. Jack Posobiec says the difference between a hand raised and a limp wrist. And there is Vivek, hand held high. I do think it's funny, too, because like when you're wearing those suits, it's hard to like lift your hand as high as you can. And Ron DeSantis, half measure.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that Ron came out weak and ineffective. I got to be honest with you.
He did better than I was
Ron DeSantis
expecting.
had some excellent answers.
Yeah, set it up.
But it was A tier, B tier. The rest of the field I thought was, I'm sorry, just worthless. And the reason why I didn't even want to cover this was bullied into it. Now, people wanted to see it, I guess, and that's what it is. But the reason I didn't want to cover it, dude, Nikki Haley arguing with Mike Pence is irrelevant to you, to me, and to anyone else. Sorry,
Mike Pence
that's reality.
being there didn't
now, I know.
So boring.
You know, Ian was actually pretty funny last night. Mike Pence was saying his stupid garbage, and he's like, he's got that 7% locked in. He's actually at 3 cents in the prediction markets, way below the rest of the field. Glenn Youngkin is doing better. He wasn't even there. So, but look,
Youngkin's not.
Here's how I described it.
Officially,
if I go down to my local bar, local pub, and I hear Ricky argue with Jimmy over tax policy and war, that's the same thing as Mike Pence and Nikki Haley having that argument. Why? Jimmy and Ricky ain't going to be the nominee. They're not going to be president, and they're not going to be vice president. We all know it. It's a waste of our time. To be fair, okay, because I try to be reasonable. I can't see the future. Ann Coulter, with respect, said she thinks Ron's going to win. Maybe.
No.
You know, she said in
She's wrong.
It might have been 2016.
She's wrong about a lot of stuff.
Because the cycle
and
overlaps.
Coulter was on Tim Cast IRL some time ago, and some of the opinion she has is just no.
2016, when she was asked, right now, among the candidates right now, who do you think is going to win? She said, right now, Donald Trump. And they laughed at her and mocked her. And even right now, when she says DeSantis, people are like, no way that happens. Dude, we don't know where we're at. Ron, I think, definitely improved. I'm impressed. Yesterday, his performance was
he did better than I was expecting.
C+ to B-.
Yeah.
And I'm not digging the guy. His opening announcement was weak. I'm here to lead the great American comeback. Just no, sorry, not good, not strong. What we saw last night from Ron was he had good answers, different answers from Vivek, and he said it with strength. I respect that. But here's my view. Vivek Ramaswamy is on stage, pushing back, fighting back, immediately asserting his positions, not waiting for the audience to tell him what to think. He knows what he thinks. He knows what he needs to say. And Ron was a little tepid. Vivek, A+, Ron DeSantis, B-. Vivek comes out with an answer. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Ron DeSantis comes out. I think we should do this, that, or otherwise. And I'm like, Vivek's answer on these questions was premium. Ron DeSantis' answers, pretty good. Different, acceptable, right? It's kind of like, it's like a trivia question where it's like, that answer is also acceptable, but worth 100 less points. So I'm not saying this to drag the guy. I'm saying Ron DeSantis actually did well. It should be surprising to anybody that we're saying Vivek stole the show. Look at this one. I love this story. Crowd goes wild after Ramaswamy says climate change is a hoax. I'm saying Schwammy because that's what Trump says. He's like, Vivek Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy. It's like, it's not an insult. It's just like a silly mispronunciation. Check this out. Republican 2024 candidate Vivek Ramaswamy sparked a wild response from the crowd when he said climate change is a hoax during the Fox News debate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ramaswamy jumped in on a question about climate change before others spoke. He said he was the only person on the debate stage that was not bought and paid for. He says, let us be honest as Republicans. He says, I'm the only person on stage who isn't bought and paid for. I can say this, climate change is a hoax. The reality is that anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. The crowd erupted. Here you go. Let's play it.
No, I didn't raise a hand. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
Who's booing this guy?
I don't know.
And the reality is, the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket.
Maybe people like the other things that he said that they're bought and paid for. Maybe that's why they're booing. I don't get it.
On our
they opened with this question. They had this. I think it was YF. I'm not sure. And they were like, climate change for young people is a key issue. How will the Republicans respond? Blah blah blah. And it's just like, oh, dude, spare me. I am not going to sit here and listen to Greta Thunberg. How dare you?
How dare
when she doesn't talk about China or India or these other countries at all.
They're the biggest
I think she may have said something recently. So, okay, fair point.
Not originally,
she did.
though,
I can't remember what it was.
Had all that hype.
But she comes and acts like it's Europe and the United States. Dude, I I will say this. I do not respect the climate change activists at all. You know why? Because I used to work for some of these nonprofits. I know what they think. I know what they say to people, and I know how they act. And you know what I learned? I'll tell you a story about Deepwater Horizon. When that went off and there was an oil spill, I was told by an environmentalist organization I've been working for to keep. So here's what happens. I'm on the street. This is what precipitated me wanting to quit the industry. I'm reading the spiel. I'm talking to the guy, and I always gave him more off the cuff. And this guy goes, "That's not true." And I was like, "Wait, what's not true?" And he's like, "The amount of oil cited, that's not correct. It's way less than that." And I was like, "Oh, this is the fact sheet that we have." And he goes, "Well, you're wrong, and you're misleading people, and you're asking for money." And I was like, "Dude, I am not intending to mislead anybody. These are the fact sheets that we got." And he's like, "Well, check your facts." And I'm like, "I will." Long story short of it, I was told just to keep saying it because, we need to raise money. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I did a Google search. I asked somebody, and it was way less. And I was pissed off. I don't trust them. But more importantly, look, man, decentralizing the grid, amazing. More solar power on more homes, amazing. Wind
nuclear,
turbines, amazing. I'm a fan of all of this
small
stuff.
nuclear
power, amazing.
Yeah.
We do not want one power station that can be shut down by a cyber attack.
Yeah.
Climate change to me is not the argument. You want to go to a conservative, you want to go to a libertarian or someone who doesn't care about this, you want to go to someone who works in an oil field or whatever. I say this. I got no beef with carbon. I am concerned about mass overproduction, toxification of environments, mercury, etc., dead zones in the ocean, pollution, the Pacific Gyre, all of
those
these things
forever
are bad.
chemicals.
We got to be good stewards of the earth.
Plastics. Ugh.
But when you get these wealthy individuals flying on jets all over the world while complaining everybody else needs to stop.
Yeah, John
Don't
Kerry.
believe you. Sorry. When they say the water is going to rise in 10 years and then they buy beachfront property, don't believe you. So I just say this. I think they're all hypocrites and liars. My position, decentralizing our electrical grid is tremendous, tremendous. If there is an attack on our country or anything like that, and we've got solar power and backup power or a storm or an earthquake, we're good. Imagine if you've got a couple power plants in an area and an earthquake hits and now nobody has power. Bad news. Imagine people get solar power. It's not
that small
perfect
nuclear
way to power the grid, but it creates a safety net that is really, really good. Decentralizes power consumption, reduces carbon, whatever you want to call it. I think that's good. But my question here is, who is booing him? This is absolutely amazing. I love this. And here we go. The New York Times. Ramaswamy seizes spotlight as DeSantis hangs back. 7 debate takeaways. I don't care about the debate takeaways, but basically they say it was the Ramaswamy show. I can agree. Here we have this from Newsweek. Who won the Republican debate? 3 analysts give their verdict. Let's just cut to the chase. Who do you think won? Vivek Ramaswamy, they say, yes. Ron DeSantis, sidelined. That's incredible. Nikki Haley, nuanced and honest.
From Newsweek.
Best of the rest. Really? Nikki Haley. Let's check the prediction markets and see what they say. No, look at that. Nikki Haley coming up in 4th place. I was not a fan.
I wasn't a fan
Nikki
either.
Haley had some nonsense statement. Martyr made tweets. Holy-ish. Haley just said that Putin has promised that after he's done conquering Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That is a blatant, whole cloth, warmongering lie. Yes. When she said that, we all looked around like, what? That is not true. We haven't even, there's not even an inclination right now that Putin wants to take anything other than the Donbass, so he has a land bridge to Crimea because he wants a warm water port in the Black Sea.
Want the rest of Ukraine.
These people are
he just wants
evil.
The South.
I despise these warmongering psychopaths. Vivek Ramaswamy was the only one to immediately, without hesitation, say no more funding for Ukraine. And he said, why are we spending money defending Ukraine's border when we are not defending our own?
Yeah.
And what does Nikki Haley do? You want to defund Israel. And he goes, no, I don't. That's not correct. It's wrong. And she just kept saying it over and over again. I loathe these people. But here's where we're at. Who won the debate, says the New York Times. Observers weigh in. Ron DeSantis. Hey, I'm not going to leave that out. Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, and Donald Trump. Oh, you'll love to see it.
Donald Trump. That's
the
funny.
largest question looming over Wednesday's debate was whether Mr. Trump's absence would be a misfire. By and large, political experts, even those who didn't have a favorable view of Trump, agreed it was not the case. Amy Walter, the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Cook Political Report, offered a stark assessment. Trump has to be pretty happy with his debate. Yeah. Some have suggested none of these people will be VP. Why offer the VP position to anyone who's trying to take your job, they say.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if I agree. I think Trump has just seen a tremendous ally in Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, Vivek says he will not take a VP position. He's not a number 2 kind of guy. He wants the job and he's vying for it. But I don't know where Ramaswamy goes after this if he doesn't take a VP position.
2028.
I think Vivek did such a powerful job last night that were Trump to pick him, then I think that clears up a lot of the problems people have with Trump. Trump lost in 2020 by 42,000 votes in 3 states. Don't let them lie to you when they say Trump can't win. It is laughable. Like, nah, too many people hate Trump. He can't win. 42,000 votes, dude. But Biden got 81 million. Ballot harvesting and ballot chasing and anti-Trump sentiment. But do you think they can maintain that with Joe Biden's failures? When people were voting against Trump, they had nothing relative to compare him to. Now, people are mad at Joe Biden and Trump ain't in office. That's Trump's advantage now, because you can't come out and be like, the economy's bad and it's Trump's fault. Climate change, COVID. Trump's not the president. The economy in 2019 was really good. So right now, you have Trump's hard base. They're going to support him. And if it's Trump versus Biden, Biden loses support. When Biden came into office, he was at 40 to 50%. Then Afghanistan happens and his approval rating collapses. How many votes did he lose because of that? The economy is in bad shape. People are saying they can't buy groceries anymore. I'm sorry. Joe Biden is going to bear the brunt of that, whether you think it's his fault or not. Trump's advantage. So, in the meantime, I'd love to see a Ramaswamy take the VP offer, but maybe
so would I.
I don't know where he goes after this. The dude is, this is amazing. Vivek is 38 years old and worth $500 million plus.
Wow.
Here's a guy who's a proven leader, very smart, at the highest end of the bell curve for intelligence, charisma, tact. You know, we were talking about this, and I'm like, he's not Trump, though, right? They're both top-tier dudes, alphas, right? But Trump's got something more. And someone said, Vivek is Bruce Banner and Trump is the Hulk. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's one way to put it. Trump is a Hulk, lumbering figure. I got to be honest, though. Some of the answers I didn't like from that Tucker interview. I want to see Trump be more assertive, but I also think Trump is playing it smart.
He might also be kind of worried about the indictment.
Epstein was killed or whatever. He said, I don't know. It's possible. I don't know, though. And I can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I got to be honest with all you guys. Vivek seems more attuned for the current political world than Trump does. And I mean it. But we need the bull in the china shop, at least this time around. I think Vivek offers that tact and strategy, and he's offering it way better than DeSantis has. And so I think he'd be a great VP. I don't know if VP is the right position, though. Some people say chief of staff or secretary of state, actually working on policy and things like that. So we'll see. VP is more of the political position to get the votes. And that might be something an offer he should take. Trump right now does not have the zeitgeist. He does not have the culture. Vivek does. But Trump has the arc. He has the storyline to be finished. He has the support base, and he needs his revenge. If it were a flat choice right now, if I could point to someone and say they'd be president, I'd be like, Vivek. Realistically, what can we accomplish? Trump. I think that's where we're at. But we'll see, man. Times can change. Things can change. I have no idea where this goes. Like, Ron DeSantis improved greatly. Nikki Haley apparently did as well. So we'll see. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel.
Very interesting. Yeah, I like Vivek a lot. I thought he stole the show. He talked a lot. I don't know who's booing him, but Vivek wants to, basically gut the FBI. He's like what I would want in a libertarian, like Dave Smith. That would be my choice. But for a Republican, he's not quite he's not quite aligned with me as much as Dave Smith. But yeah, he's way better than anyone else. Ron DeSantis and everything. I also think that Ron DeSantis definitely improved compared to where he was at before. But I just don't like. I think he's a liar. I think all these guys are liars. Why some of those people are even on the debate stage? They're not even going to win. It would just seem like a waste of time when I was watching it. If I was watching Crowder's stream, I probably would have just been so bored. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. The next debate should be interesting. I wonder if anyone will actually resign before them to, clear up some space so we can actually hear from some people that are going to win. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.